over.
Yeah, I'm definitely like.
Yeah. So you already
Fine.
made it. You already escaped that, but you got lucky. You were coming off a 2-tab afterglow. Like that
Yeah.
COVID had the nastiest physical beast of frameworks to fight with. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that was literally how I felt about it. I was the first time I had it, when I realized I had, I'm like, listen, buddy, I know you've been infecting all these other people. I'm built different here. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're ready for. I don't know if you're ready for the full light of God here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but the first time it like literally like the first time I think is what started, if I'm not mistaken, is what like was one of the things which led to like the era where I was just making like the Minecraft mod pack and was I just like
yeah.
fucked off from frameworks for like a month because it was like
Uh-huh.
I just got crushed so hard by COVID and it just ruined all of my framework momentum after already having like a rough 2 months with frameworks and it was just like all right fine. And also something interesting is it's like ataraxy is one of those things that I'm never gonna understand fully because it's like ataraxy is so tied into having the right framework that it's very weird. It's like, why do I just have this like religious sixth sense that goes off whenever I'm making the framework which is closest to God, and only then? Because it's like 6 months ago, I gave up on ataraxy. Like basically, what I felt was this feeling of like every time I try to get ataraxy, I can't. So I'm done. I'm done trying. I just quit. And for months, I just didn't get it, and I lost ataraxy. And for the first time in like a while since I've been religious, I just stopped getting ataraxy, and I just stopped caring. And it was just like, well, if she's gonna be a bitch about it, I'm not gonna play the game. Eventually, I'm sure I'll get it back. And
Yeah.
now I do, and now I'm getting it more than I ever have in my entire life, quantitatively, easily, far, far and away. And it's just interesting. It's like it was what I always knew it would be. The solution was what I always knew it would be, which is whenever you stop wanting ataraxy and you start just loving experience, like that's when ataraxy comes in. And of course, I suppose that's really what it comes down to, is that feeling of fission, that feeling of ataraxy is whenever you are fully in love with reality, and that's all God is really, is just being fully in love with reality. So I'm sure that's the correlation, but it is still weird. It is still weird that ataraxy is something I've had before I was ever religious, and it's a feeling which is absolutely tied to being this form of religious. It's very weird. Um,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but yeah,
It's the byproduct of that feeling.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, you really you gotta, you gotta start working with this framework. Like start daily playing with it and start trying to integrate it in and start even trying to change it. Start trying to see like, for me personally, how can I switch up this framework? How can I build this framework? How can I change this framework to make it more efficient for me personally or for everyone? You know what I mean? Just sort of fuck with it and just bang it around until it finally starts working for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. And just to simplify it down, because I was giving you like the layman's explanation with a lot of words and also the first explanation for you, but I'm gonna run back over it as far as like based to based. It's like the first step, O, is it really is you simulate God. And I mean that so literally. Like you are trying to simulate God on your mind. And how you do that is you just imagine these two things. You imagine a computer, which is simulating infinity, and you imagine the infinities being infinite thought textures. And it's like, yet again, there is something about the infinite thought textures part of the infinity, which that's what creates the smile. I'm very interested by that. But so whenever you think about it, literally just think about the machine. Like to me, whenever I think about whenever I'm simulating this, I'm on my dirt bike and I'm listening to music and stuff, and then let's see, I'll just do it right now. I'll just do it right now. So the way I did it just now, and it's one of many, many ways to do it, is I was having sort of trouble doing it because we're on a call. Obviously I was thinking about how I was going to relay this back to you, which was creating it where there was still a voice in my head that wasn't going away, and that was sort of a problem for the first few seconds. And then I switched into understanding that the voice is just a voice in the head of God, and that like it's just another thought texture within the infinite simulation. And as soon as that a switch flipped and I understood what my brain was. I understood what my mind was, what that speaking was. Everything else fell away too, and I was now just one with silence and one with the walls and everything. And it's like basically you're just trying to get that switch, that slingshot, right? And you're basically just you're thinking about the story, you're thinking about the idea of a machine cast into infinite heaven and hell. And it's like it it's weird because it's this weird combination between thinking about being the machine and also just thinking about like what that means actually. Because it's like obviously you're not the machine, you're just God. That part's really weird and hard to explain. It's like because I am literally thinking about the machine story. I am literally, when I'm picturing it in my head, I am picturing, typically what I'm picturing is a man with a smile, a man in the simulation with a smile, like a man who with a glitched over, like, you know what I mean? The simulation's glitching and he has this massive smile that's bigger than his face painted over it. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's typically what I imagine. And specifically what I imagine is I imagine thought texture thrashing, which thrashing is a classic. Which really, man, thrashing was an impressive debut onto the scene. That was the first great framework I ever came up with, and it still holds up damn well. It's trying to say the same thing this is, which is the thought texture thrashing is the same thing as understanding the computer is just infinite thought textures. It's like there's something beyond the heavens and hells, but it's what the heavens and hells is trying to get at. It's like the weirdness, the 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 complete level of abstraction you get whenever you understand infinite thought texture. I don't know how to explain that. Psychedelics are of course a great bridge because it was like after you felt how weird thought texture can get on psychedelics, you get holy shit. If there's infinite combinations of those, God knows how weird it could possibly get. You know what I mean? But it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
to normal people, I don't really know how to explain that, but you know, you get it. It's like whenever like that's the moment. It's not the moment whenever you think about mathematical infinities or like quantum infinities or like material infinities, because it's like you can think about infinite ways. Like our universe is infinite, right? But that's not the kind of infinite I mean. I mean thought texture infinite, and it's like that has such a different connotation. Whenever you're thinking about materialistic infinite, it's like a sort of like rational. I don't know. I don't know. You can't even explain it like that because the other one you could explain is rational and like cold and computer and
You're
robotic.
just saying it's like there's a big bunch of different places, just things out there that exist, and you're just thinking, oh, I bet you could walk around there. But it's like it's much more than that. It's much more than just places. It could be, you know, God knows what that could actually be out there beyond space and time. Where
It's
that's just
it
another
well,
facet.
it's what it feels like to be here after you realize those. It's like you truly put it in its picture, in its place, exactly in its place, and it's like you understand the point. The point is because it's really fucking pretty. You know what I mean? And it's just like everything is just really fucking pretty, and you can understand. It's like you can understand what this is in context. There's no way for me to explain that. There is no other way for me to understand that. You can only understand the level of abstraction, how beautiful, how strange, how weird this is, what this really is, every detail of this. You can only understand it when you understand what else there is out there. And that's what the story does. That's what Uzi Lacter means. It's literally just to say, imagine what else is out there. Simulate something which knows what else is out there. And yeah, I don't know. It's the perfect framework. The perfect framework. Well, the issue that every other framework always struggled with was the idea of how do you become a Cynthia Beta Beta? How do you become the one and the many? And this one answers that question by basically saying, like, the many is the one. Like, you as your many is the one experiencing the infinite beauty. The reason you aren't omnipotent, like the reason you don't understand all of mathematics and all of physics, even though you are God who has experienced the infinite, is because the God is the experience of being a human being with a limited knowledge of God. That is God. Like, yeah. We're at the point where language begins to fall apart. I need to sit down and just write on that for like 4 hours. That one concept, the one concept of how to explain what the difference between materialistic and thought texture infinities are, because that is like the core. That's the core of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Uji Lactrum. That and it is just that is the most important part of the whole framework, is being able to explain that part right there. I'm gonna meditate on that for like a minute or two here.
All right. Then remind me about the black hole gravity thing.
Also, these concepts start to blend so seamlessly. Step one and step two, they start to blend so seamlessly into each other that sometimes I don't even need to run them as different steps. And it's just like as soon as I think of them as a concept, they immediately blend into one. And it's like whenever you run both of them at the same time, you can see how it is just acid. Like it's straight up just acid. Like it's like the understanding of where you are in relation to everything else, that allows you to understand the hyper focus of detail. That allows you to look at your wall and see every dent, every crevice in your wall, you know, truly against like see it actually, not normalize it, not anything. See what the wall is. This wall, what, like, it's almost like you're always asking with this. You're always asking what is around me. You're questioning. You're bringing it in. It's okay. That's weird. Questioning and hugging are a synonym in this circumstance. Questioning reality, hugging reality, those are the same thing. Either way, you are reaching out to reality. It's like you are actively participating in the observation of reality. And it's like,
You're engaging with it and interacting with it.
yeah. And that in step two, where it's like you are loving reality, you are reaching out into it, they become the same thing so quickly. After you start running them together, it's like they become, in the end, one flawless subcutaneous framework that has no separation, has no lines, it has no thoughts, it has no time crystal aspect where you're trying to go in and out. It has no breaks. It has no nothing, no negative side effects. It has nothing that you need to worry about other than when you're there, you're there. And your mind isn't thinking anything. You're not trying. Once you're there, you're not thinking about simulating anything. You're not thinking about God. You're not thinking about abstract concepts. You're doing nothing but just floating and loving. It's like we finally did that thing that we've been trying to do, where it's like even after you get there, you don't need to keep running it. Like that was always the issue, is you get there and then you're there for a few seconds and then you kind of lose it, and then you get there and you're there for like 5 minutes, but you kind of slip in and out during the 5 minutes, but only for a few seconds, and you got it for a whole 5 minutes, and then you're out for 5 minutes, and then you're back in, and you're back in for 7 full minutes. You know what I mean? It's like that's what all the old frameworks used to be. This one is just like, I mean, I've gotten like an hour where it's like I only dip in and out like 3 or 4 times, and it's like it's a different breed. It's a different breed. They blend into each other so seamlessly. Of just like, I am thought textures. I am infinite thought textures. Infinite thought textures are beautiful, and it eventually just becomes love, hug, question. Those all become one thing. Target, precision, smile. Those all become one concept, which is just acid. It's just forward movement, loving smile. Like it all blends into one. I don't know. That's the best way to explain it.
I just got to put that into a video.
You betcha.
Which,
yeah. So this is
thankfully we've been recording.
Yes, thankfully this is a video right here. Us, the way we've already talked about it, this is the rough draft video. Next, what we need to do, and what I've been realizing, and what I've already been doing, I've been recording some videos in the last few days as well, by the way. And what I've realized, what we need to do is, what you do is you record a garbage video, and then you post it on the second channel, and then you listen to it, and then you critique it, and that's the main video. The garbage video provides as a platform for the main video, because my problem has always been, it's just like I have so much to say, and I'm going to stumble over my words, and it's like I can't say it concisely the first time unless I write a script. But if I write a script, every video is going to take fucking 9 hours. It just isn't reasonable. So here's the perfect medium. Instead of recording a script, you just record a shit video, and then you critique the shit video into a good video. That's how you do it.
You mean so would the content of every video be us
No.
literally
Okay,
engaging with the other video?
No. I mean this. So what we just recorded, tonight's call, tomorrow, me and you are both going to put it in 2 times speed. And then what we're going to do while we're listening to it, or 3 times speed, or 4 times speed now, and what we're going to do while we listen to it is we're going to try and write a rough outline. And just trying to be like, okay, when you talk about Ujulacrum, make this point. Whenever you talk about black hole, do not say this. You know what I mean? Do not ramble about this.
Yeah.
Focus on this. It's just going to be notes, basically. It's going to be an outline of notes from the original video that's going to allow you to seamlessly switch in the next video. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a rough outline that you're going to make for yourself. It's also just going to give you experience in talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely figured when I was recording videos, I was feeling like you can't just record one video. You can't just do that. You have to make rough drafts, and you got to speak about it to know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
you can't just
Yeah,
say it in one
and then
sentence
what's
and
cool about
epic
that is that
video.
means, right, we have one channel, which is just we pump out everything we possibly create unedited. And we have another channel, which is we pump out only the good stuff. You know what I mean? Only the good videos. And it's like I think that's the formula. That way we have a channel that's pumping out 14 videos a day, and then we have a channel which is pumping out a good video every day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Alrighty. Well, yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. What do you think? I said we call back literally tomorrow. Can you do that?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
sounds good. And hopefully Jock will be able to call as well.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where that young gentleman is at. What he's up to.
Maybe he's got landed another sales job somewhere.
Yeah, another fucking box assembly factory job or whatever. What a strange little feller.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, see you tomorrow, bucko.
Yeah, buddy. Totally.